Hello everyone, this is Ultra Squad, and today we will talk about if Mage is the new meta. Before we jump into the guide, this is the setup I used. Elite Tectonic Mask, Robe Top and Robe Bottom, Blast Diffusion Boots, Carapax Wrist Wraps, a Channeler's Ring, Essence of Finality with a Gothic Staff inside, a Kiln Cape, Erythidor's Grimoire, not activated, and a large rune pouch. As for weapons, a Wand of the Praesul and Imperium Core, a Planted Feet switch on a Tier 85 orb with Planted Feet, a Ring of Vigor, a Flanking switch, a Tier 90 orb with Flanking 4 and Equilibrium 2, and an Elder Overload, Adrenaline Potions, and Super Restore Flasks. Virtus armor is fine too, as Elite Tectonic armor set is only 1% higher DPS than Virtus. But take note that you will receive considerably more damage with Virtus, as bosses tend to splash on Elite Tectonic. High DPS can be affected by 4 different categories. The first one is gear, such as armor, weapons, perks, and switches. These are the perks that are useful for the weapons and armor. The second is passive boosts, such as prayers, greater abilities, overloads, and archaeology relics. The best relics at 90 and 9 archaeology are Berserker's Fury, Fury of the Small, and Font of Life. At 120, you can replace Font of Life with Death Ward. A third one being active boosts, such as using spiritual prayer potions and adrenaline potions, and the fourth one being your ability rotation. A good ability rotation maximizes average ability percent damage over time. This means you prioritize the abilities that do the most damage, taking into consideration adrenaline usage and cooldowns. Ability rotations can be separated into 2 categories, during Sunshine and outside Sunshine. During Sunshine, all abilities except bleeds deal an additional 50% damage. This is a huge increase, which is why you want to activate Sunshine as soon as it goes off cooldown, every 60 seconds. This means that you need to manage your adrenaline so that it reaches 100% by the time you can use Sunshine again, but not before, as you also want to be able to use thresholds to keep your average ability damage high. You don't want to be late either, so that you can use Sunshine as often as possible. Since basics give between 8 and 12% adrenaline depending on relics and impatient perk procs, following exact rotations is sometimes impossible due to RNG. This is why it's better to learn the ability priority order and improvise on the spot depending on your adrenaline and current situation. Here are some tips. Greater Concentrated Blast can be used on every third ability and has the second highest ability damage behind Corruption Blast. This means that you should try to use it as often as possible, as its high DPS and short cooldown can easily inflate your average ability damage. It also adds 3 stacks to Rack and Ruin rather than the usual 1, meaning you'll reach the full 12 stacks much faster. During a Sunshine, as long as you use Planted Feet and a Ring of Vigor switch, as well as an Adrenaline Pot or Limitless, you should be able to fit in 2 Wild Magics, 2 Asphyxiates, and 2 Gothic specs. You can fill in the rest with basics following the ability damage order. Be aware that in group bosses, bleeds do less damage than usual if multiple people use the same style, as another player's bleed can overwrite yours. So if you see that a boss already has Corruption Blast bleed applied to it, prioritize other abilities until the bleed wears off. If there are multiple targets, such as AoD minions or Telos golems, Detonate with Blast Diffusion Boots and Greater Chain into Asphyxiate do an insane amount of damage and should be prioritized over anything else. You can input a lossless auto attack or debuff such as Vulnerability or Smoke Cloud at the same time as Sunshine if you trigger it 1 tick after Sunshine. You can do a similar thing with Detonate, where you can input an auto attack in the same tick as you release Detonate, but the auto attack has to be pressed first, and then you can trigger an ability 1 tick after that. This will add a lossless auto attack and an ability to detonate, almost doubling its damage to the primary. As you can see from the 5-minute gem results, you can reach over 240,000 damage per minute using this setup and applying the ability rotation methods we suggested. Applying a vulnerability spell on the target would net an additional 10% DPS increase, and using an aura such as Maniacal would add another 10%, bringing your damage per minute to around 290k. Using a Ripper with Scrolls adds another 30k, and Godbooks are another 10 to 20k damage per minute, depending on the variant. Putting it all together, following this guide, you can expect around 335,000 damage per minute. Thank you for watching. If you found this guide useful, please subscribe to my channel. See you next time.